Hey everybody, this is Andre here with the Kevin Breeze channel, and in this video, we're going to be doing a comparison between the Samsung Galaxy A32 4G and the Samsung Galaxy A31. Let's get started. So the Samsung Galaxy A32 4G has a 6.4-inch 90Hz Super AMOLED display with a resolution of 1080p, a PPI of 411, an aspect ratio of 20:9, and a screen-to-body ratio of 84.6%. We got a water drop notch here for the front-facing camera, and this camera is 20 megapixels. The Samsung Galaxy A31 has a 6.4-inch Super AMOLED display with a resolution of 1080p, a PPI of 411, an aspect ratio of 20:9, and a screen-to-body ratio of 84.9%. We got a water drop notch for the front-facing camera here as well, and this camera is also 20 megapixels. Now these phones actually do have really similar specs. Both of them have a Super AMOLED display with a really good resolution and high PPI. In fact, their PPI is actually exactly the same at 411. It is pretty impressive. On paper, the bezel of the Samsung Galaxy A31 is a little bit thinner with the screen-to-body ratio of 84.9%. versus 84.6 for the Samsung Galaxy A32 4G, but I can't really see the difference very well. It looks pretty much the same to me. The only real difference between these two phones as far as the display goes is the fact that the Samsung Galaxy A32 4G has a 90Hz display and the Samsung Galaxy A31 doesn't. So this is going to affect how things move on the screen. With the 90Hz display, animations and videos and pretty much anything on the screen that involves motion is going to be a little bit smoother. So when you're scrolling on the Samsung Galaxy A31, it is pretty decent. It's not really bad. But with the Samsung Galaxy A32 4G, it does scroll a lot faster and a lot smoother. So the difference is definitely visible there. It might not be super obvious with something like animation while scrolling, but if you're doing lots of content consumption like video streaming and gaming, then that's where it's really going to start to make a difference. Now, both of these phones have 128 gigabytes of internal storage with micro SD card expansion, so there's no real difference there. Definitely a great amount of storage. If you have a bunch of larger apps or photos and videos and that sort of thing, you're definitely going to get your use out of this because it's a great amount of space. Unfortunately, neither of these phones have wireless charging, but they both do have fingerprint sensors and face unlock. The fingerprint scanners are actually in the same exact spot, with both fingerprint scanners being on the display. It does look really nice and modern. Let's go ahead and give them a try and see how they perform, starting with the Samsung Galaxy A32 4G. And that was pretty fast. One more time. And there we go. Really nice. I don't have any complaints, but the only thing I will point out is that you actually do have to apply a little bit of pressure when you're putting your finger on the fingerprint scanner on this phone. Otherwise, as you saw in the second attempt, it's not going to read it properly. But other than that, it's really nice. It looks really good, operates really quickly, and it's really convenient to use. I've had in-display fingerprint scanners on other phones that actually don't read it very well. I've gotten locked out of these before, so it's nice that this phone doesn't do anything like that. Now we're going to test out the fingerprint scanner for the Samsung Galaxy A31. One more time. So they're pretty much the same. The appearance is a little bit different, but other than that, there's really not that much of a difference, especially not enough for it to really matter. So overall, these fingerprint scanners are really good. They do have their little quirks, but every fingerprint scanner really does. Now taking a look at the camera setups of these two phones, the Samsung Galaxy A32 4G has a 64 megapixel rear camera, an 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera, a 5 megapixel depth sensing camera, and a 5 megapixel macro camera. The Samsung Galaxy A31 has a 48 megapixel rear camera, an 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera, a 5 megapixel depth sensing camera, and a 5 megapixel macro camera. So they have basically the same features as far as the camera goes. Let's take a look at some pictures and see how the actual quality of the photos looks. So these pictures were taken by the rear cameras of each phone. I do think the Samsung Galaxy A31 does take a slightly better picture in my opinion. The colors are a little bit more vivid and the details are better, whereas there's a little haze on the photo taken by the Samsung Galaxy A32 4G that I really don't like. I don't think that it makes the picture look very professional and clear. It's not a bad picture, but considering the Samsung Galaxy A31, which is its predecessor, has such a great quality, I am a little disappointed by the quality of this picture. These pictures were taken by the ultra-wide cameras. I do think the ultra-wide camera of the Samsung Galaxy A32 4G is a little bit wider, so that definitely is something in favor of the Samsung Galaxy A32 4G. But again, as far as the quality of the photo goes, the Samsung Galaxy A31 still does take a slightly better picture. These pictures were taken by the front-facing cameras of each phone. Once again, the Samsung Galaxy A31 just has a more clear, better colored, and more detailed picture than the Samsung Galaxy A32 4G. Now, both of these phones can shoot video in 1080p in both the rear and front cameras, so there's not going to be a big difference there. It'll basically be the same quality difference you saw in the photo demonstration. Now, internally, the Samsung Galaxy A32 4G is getting 4GB of RAM with the MediaTek Helio G80 processor. The Samsung Galaxy A31 is also getting 4GB of RAM with the MediaTek Helio P65 processor. We ran Geekbench 5 benchmark tests on both of these phones, and the Samsung Galaxy A32 4G came back with a single-core score of 347 and a multi-core score of 1308. The Samsung Galaxy A31 came back with a single-core score of 352 and a multi-core score of 1238. So these phones are actually really close. The Samsung Galaxy A31 has a higher single-core score, but the Samsung Galaxy A32 4G has a higher multi-core score, so it could go either way. We're actually going to do a demonstration real quick and see which one is faster if either of them are. So we're going to start by opening Google Chrome. So that time, the Samsung Galaxy A31 did pull up Google Chrome a little bit faster. We're going to try a web page and see how that goes. In that time, the Samsung Galaxy A32 4G did pull up the web page a little bit faster. Because these are so close, I'm going to try one more page and see if there's a difference. In that time, the Samsung Galaxy A31 did load a little bit faster. Really, the one conclusion I would draw from that is that overall, these phones don't really have much of a difference in speed. It was pretty much even every time I tried to open something, so it would be really hard to say which one is actually faster, but in terms of practical application, as you could see in the demonstration, there's not going to be enough of a difference between the performance of these two to really be able to base any decision on that. It's really so close that one is going to be better sometimes and the other is going to be better other times. It really doesn't matter as far as that goes. Now for the battery, both of these phones do have the same battery with a 5000 mAh battery supporting 15 watt fast charging. It's a really big battery that's going to give you a lot of life. Not only are you going to get more life per charge, but you're also going to get that longevity. When the phone starts to get old and the battery starts degrading, you're not going to notice it as much as you would with a phone that has a smaller battery because a 5000 mAh battery is so big. Now in conclusion, which of these phones is better? These phones are really similar. I don't really see a whole lot of a difference between them. I would say there are really two differences between these phones to consider when making a decision. On one hand, the Samsung Galaxy A32 4G has an advantage as far as the display goes because it has a 90Hz display and the Samsung Galaxy A31 doesn't. So if you're doing something that involves motion like streaming videos or playing a game, and that's really your main function of the phone, then the Samsung Galaxy A32 4G is going to come in handy because of that 90Hz display. It's going to be a lot smoother. Again, we're getting this type of motion as opposed to this. So that is something to keep in mind. But on the other hand, the Samsung Galaxy A31 does seem to take better photos than the Samsung Galaxy A32 4G, and pretty noticeably at that. So if you are into photography and like to take photos often, then that's something to think about. But regardless, both of these phones have some really good features and really good performance and function in most areas. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. And for more info on pricing and availability, be sure to check the link in the description. To get more information on the phones themselves, definitely watch the full reviews of the phones on the channel. But that's it for today, guys. I will see you in the next video.